everybody. So today we are continuing our series Educate. That means this is for those folks who have just arrived and want to know how to move around, how you do this, how you do that. Well, today it's about using the metro. It's about transportation. Because, we talk a lot about the budget, right? So transportation should be aligned in your budget, how much you're going to spend. And I can tell you that using that little metro card, oh, I didn't even bring it with me, is going to save you a lot of money. So you really need to pay attention. And also, I have a guest who's going to tell you about her experience using the metro. She has been christened, knighted, the Metro Queen. So we're going to have Barbara talk to us a little bit later. But I thought I would give you a little bit of a history about the metro in Panama. I was really surprised when I got here that we had such a nice metro system. I lived in New York, so I use the subway all the time, but Panama's metro is top tier, always clean. The trains are on time, and only a couple of times we had some mechanical issues. So it is a good, to me personally, this is my best way to travel in and around the city. All right. So if transportation is a concern, if you are a sister, an older person, if you have any kind of mobility issues, we're going to talk about that. We have elevators, we have escalators, so you can, but you may need someone to kind of hold your hand in the beginning, and that's what my friend Barbara does, okay? So the metro system in Panama includes, when they say the metro, we're talking about the bus system and also the trains, right? It was started in 2014 with one line, 15 station, starting from Albrook. And right now, if you take line one, it goes from Albrook all the way to Villa Zaita. I'm thinking south to north. But somewhere in between, they started, you can pick up line two, at San Miguelito, which is, I believe, the second busiest metro station in the city. And then you can go off like towards the airport. And then we'll talk about, well, maybe I can tell you right now, we are working, they are working on line three, a third line that's going to connect Panama Oeste. I'm talking about Arajan, La Chorrera, Costa Verde, Capria, those areas, because the people who live in Panama Oeste, by the way, Panama Oeste is the newest province in Panama. Panama has 10. Panama Oeste is the 10th one because the growth has been phenomenal. And the people have a time trying to get to the city if they work here. So they're working on line three that's going to connect Panama Oeste to the city, and that is slated to open in 2026. And as I talked to Barbara, we're going to kind of interject some nice little pieces of information for you to know. But understand that Panama has a terrific metro system and then we have the bus system, Metrobus, and Barbara is a queen at that too. It's very easy to use. If you have Google Maps, not a problem, right? And of course, we have Ubers and taxis. And we'll talk briefly about some regional flights, how you can get in and out of the country. You can go to other places besides David, believe it or not. All right. So I am going to introduce my friend Barbara, and then it's going to be a conversation. So you want to take notes. And if you also want to, you have questions, hopefully Barbara will allow me to share her number in the description, and you can get with her and she can show you all about the metro system here in Panama. I'm looking at the clock. It's like going backwards, so I hope I'm okay. Here is Miss Barbara. Hey, Barbara, how are you?
I'm wonderful.
Thank you so much. Barbara is at the beach having fun. But you see, she got the memo. We're wearing black. I didn't ask her to wear black. It just worked out. So Barbara here is in Panama as I am, Panama City as I am, and Barbara has been knighted the queen of the metro. Okay, I don't know who gave her that name, but everybody knows if you want to know anything about, I use the metro a lot, but not as much as this one. Okay, she's always on there going to Coronado. I don't do that. I did go. Oh, Barbara, you disappeared.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm
you just went
okay.
off for a little bit. All right. So Barbara, why don't you introduce yourself to the folks so they get an idea of who you are?
Hello, everyone. My name is Barbara Rouse, and I moved to Panama from Atlanta in October 1st, 2022. So actually, Wednesday is my 3-year anniversary.
Oh, happy anniversary. That's wonderful. Barbara got me beat because she got here before I did. That's wonderful. So Barbara, what do you like most about the metro here?
um, I like it's very, very clean.
Yes.
It's reliable. There's nowhere I can't get around Panama City, inside and out of the city,
There you go.
um, not using the metro.
Yes, and Barbara knows the ins and out of town ways to get through Panama. I mean, like I said, I've done some travel stuff, but Barbara got me beat there. So the metro, I was telling folks that we have two lines currently, right, Barbara? We
You
have
do?
line one and line two. Line one starts from Albrook all the way to Via Zaita.
See?
Via Zaita is a newer stop,
Yeah, that's a
right?
new one.
And then that metro station is beautiful. It's got artwork and everything. It's nice. And then at San Miguelito, on the way to Via Zaita, you can switch to line two, and that one takes you to the airport and Nuevo Tocumen, correct?
Correct.
Right. And then they each have about 15 stations. And when you get on the metro, they do have like a little map somewhere where you could see when your next stop is coming. And they tell you próximo parada. They tell you next station so you can stand up because, you know, when you're in that metro, you don't go to sleep now. When your
Yeah, they
turn
all
comes, you got to exit because that door's going to close.
so
And
yeah, they have a map on the metro on the rail station, as well as they're announcing, like you say, they're making an announcement, but line two is newer, so it
Mhm.
actually lights up as you move from
Yes.
stop to stop.
And you know, one time I was in the metro, it was coming to maybe San Miguelito. It had announcement in English. I'd never heard it in English before. Have you?
I can't remember ever hearing
Yes, only one time. And I'm like, I think that's good because a lot of
it.
people now. So now in line two from San Miguelito, you can stop at Corridor-SWRA and take the other shorter train to the airport.
Two stops to the airport.
Right. And then they tell you, you know, that's where you change and they do it in the PA system. And I was like, wow, this is nice in English. And then I never heard it again. One time. And I do. My daughter came, I went and picked her up on my 35 cents metro ride. And we came. If you don't have a big suitcase, you can take the metro
That's
to
the
the
way to
airport.
go. I never go and pick anybody up from the airport using an Uber, because for me it's
Yeah.
24 cents. Well, from Jubilato it's
Yes.
24 cents on line one, 35 cents on line two.
Wow. It's amazing. So
It's
my
amazing.
brother was here the other day and I'm like, you know, you can take man, he's from Manhattan. So he had no problem using it. He's like, you forget I'm from New York. I can use this metro. And then I think he started pouring when he was supposed to go, so he didn't make it. All right.
Okay.
So I think some of the reason people might want to consider the metro, personally, the metro is my first line of that I use for transportation. The buses, the second, because during rush hour, the buses can be a little bit difficult to get on, and then so many people tight. But Uber is my very last option. You know, if I'm
Last
going
resort.
somewhere in the middle of the day, it's hot, I don't want to be a sweaty mess, or it's late at night, then I'll Uber back home, you know, as a safe person that I am.
Hmm.
But the other thing that's coming up with the Metro is that before we go into the steps, I want you to tell them how to get their cards and all this good stuff that you're very good at. Line three, we talked about line three. Someone told me line 3 is slated to finish in 2026, next year. And I'm sure you know that it's going to connect Panama Oeste to the city because the
Yes.
people who live there, some of them have a hard time. They have to change buses several times to get to work in the city. And some of them even end up staying with friends and family in the city because it's such a problem for them to get transport back and forth. So it's going to relieve a lot of that stress for them. But you know, Barbara, that San Francisco doesn't really have good access with the metro train.
Correct.
We have lots of buses, but not too many trains. People need to know that because they love San Francisco, but no, the metro doesn't go to San Francisco, but you got lots of bus choices. Someone said that the next line is going to go through San Francisco. And I'm like, well, that's nice.
I don't think that it's still going to be convenient. San Francisco is pretty large, and you
Yeah,
may have one stop in there, so
yeah.
I don't
I
think
don't
that's
know. I don't
true.
know. But at line 3, it's going to go under the Panama Canal. It's going to have
Yeah.
a tunnel. You know, I'm going to be in line to go on that one. Let's see other things. You know, the fast train that this new government has promised. We're going to have a train from the city to David.
Yeah.
And we don't know when that's going to start. They say probably in 27, 26 or 27. So it's going to be a long time project. But that's something to look forward to think about having a train that's going to take you from Panama City all the way to David. And I think
Exactly.
we're going to have a stop at Paso Canoas, which is at the borderline with Costa Rica.
Hmm.
Isn't that neat?
I
I
know.
think that's wonderful.
Y'all won't find me after line 3 go up. So
I know, I know. We never see Barbara. But you know, they were talking also about San Miguelito, which is not a place that I visit very often. They were considering the cable cars on top, like they do in Colombia.
yeah.
So, but no, I draw the line there. I don't like height. I'm not gonna be in one of those. You can tell me about it, Barbara. I'm not gonna be one of.
Oh, I will. I love heights. I'll
No,
tell you
you
about
will.
it.
The other thing that might become people need to know is that when you come to Panama to Tucumán, Tucumán is an international airport. It's big. It's a jump off point. You can go anywhere from Tucumán, right? You can go east,
Yes.
you can go west, north, and south. Across the ocean, yes. But you also have regional airline that people can use to go to David, right?
Yes.
You can also go to Rio Hato. Apparently, there is an airport there. I've never been there. And Rio Hato is like on the way to Penenome, like if you're on that Inter-American
On
Highway,
that corner. Yeah.
right? And then also Bocas del Toro, there is an airport there. You can fly there actually, and you can fly to David. So people need to know that I can do that. And the other day, Aisha, who is another YouTuber here, she took a private chartered flight to Playa Venal, which is in the Los Santos. But I don't do small planes, so that's not gonna work for me. I don't do small planes. All right, so I think I tell people how vast and well coordinated the transportation system is here in Panama because you can go pretty much anywhere in Panama if you don't drive. I don't drive. I know Bob
Anywhere.
doesn't drive.
Anywhere. I have my driver's license, but I have no intentions of driving.
Yeah, I didn't even get my driver's license because I was like, no, I'm done. So, Barbara, why don't you tell the folks if somebody just is arriving here in Panama, right? And they're like the rest of us on fixed income and they're trying to watch their pennies. And I tell people when you do your budget, you want to put a line item for transportation, right? I'm sure you did that.
I
And I
did.
remember watching your first video, you were like, I budgeted this much, but I only need use this much because I use the metro so much, right?
Yes.
We
When I
have,
got here, my Uber budget was $300. Now I may spend 30
yeah,
in
no,
an
mine
Uber.
is 50. You're good. Mine is 50. And I don't think I've ever used it. Because if I load my card, Barbara, for $20, I'm telling you, I use that for the whole month. I don't use that, so I don't use my budget that much. So that's good. All right, why don't we tell the folks how to get started if they want to stay on budget and they want to have use of the metro and know how to use it?
Okay, so of course you'll get a lot more information if you do my bus train tour, but I always take people to Albrook Mall to get their bus cards
Okay.
initially. You need two single-dollar bills to purchase your card because the machine will not give you change. If you put $5 in there to purchase your card, you just gave the card machine $3.
Your contribution.
And then what people don't realize is when you buy that card for $2, now you got to put that card back in the machine to actually put money on the card.
Oh, that happened to me, Baba. Let me tell you. I was going somewhere out of town, and then I had my other early gray white card. Remember they used to have the gray?
Yeah,
So I went to go in, and it's like, no, you can't use this card. You have to get the green one, right? So he said,
yeah.
go get a card. So I went, my $2, I knew that, and I put the card, and I went back, and he's like, did you put money on it?
And I
I'm
ran into
so
that the
dumb.
other day
I
with
felt
someone. She had bought a card, and then we was getting ready to go out. I was like, "Girl, you don't have no money on that card." But she
so you
thought she
buy the
did.
card, then you have to load it up. Remember
And
that?
then you have to load it up, and then of course you want is exact change because during the protest they closed up all of the coin slots at Albrook, so you must have
Oh, okay, I didn't know
dollars,
that.
but you need exact change because it will not give you change
That's
if
right.
you get $1, $5, $10, $20 bills.
Mm-hmm. But there is that window close to where you go in to get the bus to Cologne, where you can go in if you have cash. You hand in your card and you say how much money, and then they'll give you change like that.
Yes,
Yes,
but and those lines are usually long. I never use those lines. When I take my groups out, I make sure everybody have
exact
what they
change.
want to put on that because they'll send you to the machines. It's easier to just get it from
That's
the kiosk there.
that's true.
And of course, and there are two different cards. Well, it's three cards, but the green, yellow, and blue one is the one that you're going to get from the
Yes,
kiosk.
I
And,
forgot to
that,
bring mine to show them.
and that's actually the best one to have because you can use that for the bus, the train, as well as you can use it for the bathrooms in the train in the bus station, as well as if you leave to go to the out of the city and you're going to take the big Greyhound style buses, there's a turnstile there that you must either put a dime in or you can tap your card.
Yes, that's where I got stopped because he wouldn't let me in and he said, go get the card. And I didn't, I made a couple, he laughed and I laughed. It was that's so funny. Okay, okay, that's good. Yes, I like the fact that the card, you can use it on the train and on the buses. And if you need to use the restroom at Albrook, is it just at the transport
It's
the
it's just in the
terminal?
transportation. Yeah, it's
Oh,
just in the bus terminal.
right, and 25 cents if you
Twenty
don't
five
didn't
cents.
know that. You got to pay to pee. You didn't?
Exactly. Or you can tap that card.
Yes.
Or if you're going out of the city and you either have to have a dime or tap your card.
I
But that's
didn't know
the
about the dime. When you put the dime in the little thing that you tap,
yeah, yeah. There's a little machine there, so
little
you can either
slot. I did not know that. I
yes.
always use my card. Okay.
Okay, and that's good because the first time I left the city, it was a guy there, and I didn't know about the dime or the card. And he said, "Oh, no worries, I'll let you in." And he tapped me in with his card, but then he charged me $1. And
But
then when I realized,
yeah,
huh?
go
Yeah, when
ahead.
I realized that it was only a dime, I was like, okay, I need to get my own card.
Yeah. And then sometimes people would not have money on their card or they don't have a card and they ask you to let them through. Have you had?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And they'll do
Or
that on the buses as well. They'll get on the bus and they know no money on their card. So they will ask you to scan them in. And then, they
sometimes
sometimes they'll offer you
they'll
a
give you a
quarter.
quarter though. They'll give you a,
Sometimes, most of the time they will, but not all the time. But most of the time they do.
but did you know that happened to me one time? I got on the bus, it's like beam. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. And then somebody said, oh, tap it, because I do it for them all the time. I'm like,
Of
oh,
course, of course. I've actually never seen anybody get put off the bus for not having
no, that is
money or
true.
on their card because somebody on that bus
Somebody,
will come and
it's
scam
the
in.
general spirit of
Yes,
Panama. And
yes.
also, Bob, do you notice that sometimes you on a train, there's somebody coming telling you a sad story about their children being sick, or they're from a country,
Oh, yeah,
and somebody would always give them $1.
yeah.
Like, I'm amazed.
Of
I'm amazed at the generosity of the Panamanian people. All
course.
right, so they got the card, and what else? What now?
So you got your card, you load your card, and then of course, then you free to go to get on the bus, get on the train, and then of course the buses are 25 cents. Even though they say, well, the buses are 25 cents, except the S buses and the T buses. Those buses are 75 cents.
Because when I went to Costa del Este one time, I noticed it wasn't 25
Exactly.
cents. Yes.
Because those are the S and the T buses run along the highways. So basically, you are paying those tolls.
Okay. Now see, that's why she's the queen. I didn't know that. Okay.
But
Oh,
the other buses, there's a I, a M, the V, the K.
mm-hmm,
All of those
mm-hmm,
buses are 25 cents.
mm-hmm. Oh, before you move on, also when they tap for the thing to open to let them in, they can see what their balance is also on that little
Yes,
screen, right? So if
yes.
you're running low, you know you need to load it up some more so you don't get the
And it will let you go negative. If you get on there and you have say 15 cents, but you need to be paying 25, it will let you go into the
Maybe
negative.
that's why one day I put $20 in that little thing to load it up. And then when I scanned it, it's like 19 something. And I'm like,
It
it's
was
like
in the
it took
negative.
an extra. Oh,
Exactly.
I did not know that, Bob. Okay. You see,
Now,
that's why she's the queen. All
I
right.
don't know how much
How low
negative
can
it will
you
let you go,
go?
but it will let you go.
Oh,
Now
that
it
is
doesn't
nice.
embarrass you, and then you get put off the bus.
Also, someone told me that people, if they're visitors and they don't have a card, they can tap their MasterCard or their Visa. Do you know that to be true?
Now I know that on the trains, yes,
Okay, because I put
not on the
my,
bus.
because I tried to tap my Benitsmo card and nothing happened. So I guess maybe send just a Visa from out of the country or,
No, you can use that, but now you got to use the right slot because on that machine that's to the far right, you got a Visa spot and then you got the Metro card spot. So
oh,
if you tapped your Visa over there in the Metro, that's why it
nothing
didn't work.
happened. That's what.
Exactly.
Duh. All right, Miss Barbara,
And you
educate
can
me, madam.
and you can also scan three additional people besides yourself onto the bus or the train.
Only three.
Only three more besides yourself, so you can do four
Oh,
scans at one
okay,
time.
okay. I
So
didn't
if
know
you
there was
have
a limit.
visitors, they don't necessarily have to buy a card. You can just scan them off.
Right. You know, and a lot of us have extra cards around the house
Of
anyway. So if
course,
you have a visitor, you're like, here, use that.
use that one
Oh,
exactly. Because
okay.
I keep extra for when the grandkids come. They all have their own cards.
Exactly. So we'll do that. Okay, that's wonderful. All right. So tell them about changing if they want from line one to line two, depending on where they're going. Because again, we tell them in line two, you said on the train, they have the map and then it lights up where, you know, the train is going, the next stop. Plus it tells you in the PA system what the next stop is. So you stand and get ready to exit because metro culture is when that train stops, the people ready to come in, they want to come in. They're not
They
gonna
rush the
wait. So
train.
you have to, I don't know what it is. They're very polite, except when it comes to getting on and off that train and that bus. Oh my God, every man for himself. So
Exactly.
you get ready for that. Okay. And also, I wanted to mention to some of my sisters, our sisters who may have mobility issues, most of the train stations have an elevator. Sometimes it
Yes,
doesn't work, but most of the time it works. And it
they do.
says it's for older people, people with children and pregnant women, whatever. And we have escalators, so if you have anything, any issues walking or whatever, just look for the elevators or ask someone. And the
Yes.
stations always have some security person or an employee If you have issues, the police sometime are there doing ID checks, so don't be scared if you see them. They've never stopped me yet. They haven't stopped me yet.
I got stopped one time for the first time a couple weeks ago.
Did you? I have, my turn is coming, I know, but I know some sisters, you just have to show your cedula,
Show
and if
your
you have,
schedule and
right,
keep it moving.
and if you are visiting or you have family visiting, passport copy or something like that.
Exactly.
Let's see, the buses though, don't have ramps.
No. But now that if somebody gets on, and even though it's very, very rare, but if somebody gets on in a wheelchair or whatever, the bus driver gets out and he does make provisions from
That is
the
true.
exit door to help the person on. And
Or some people there will actually lift them up and take them out in the wheelchair.
yeah,
Some people will do that because they're just so helpful that way.
exactly. But the bus do have provisions for wheelchairs.
So do they have the lift? I haven't seen the lift yet.
It's something, and I don't know, I can't remember whether it was a lift or not, but he gets off and he makes adjustments at that exit door because if you have a wheelchair, that's how you enter the bus.
Right.
And can't remember whether they lifted the person up or there is maybe a lift back there. I mean, a little
I've
ramp
seen
back there.
them get really close, right,
Yes,
to the edge so the people can get out. And then I've seen the driver, as you say, get out of his seat and come around and help a little old
yes.
person get down, whether they're in a wheelchair or not. Sometimes they just need help with
Mhm.
their cane. But what I've seen, when one day I got on a bus and there were two people in the wheelchair, I'm like, whoa, I don't see
And
that
that's rare.
often. That is rare, right?
It's very rare.
And some men and young people just came and just actually lifted them out. So
Yeah.
when they had the election last year, I was really hopeful because one of the people candidates, he had a child with disability, and his wife was campaigning a lot on working on that because I think they need to retrofit those buses with the lift and stuff so
Oh,
people
yeah.
can get
Oh,
on. So that is something whoever's listening that we need to work on. But it is what it is. But just so that you know that you have elevators in that station and in those buses, no. So I would say if you have mobility issues, stick to the metro and the Uber. You agree?
oh yeah, because my sister-in-law came over with mobility issues, and we had to do more Ubering with her because
Yes.
she had one of those rollators.
Okay.
And so it was
Yes.
difficult, but a lot of the
Yes.
guys, if we did go to get on the bus, those guys would come from the back of the bus or whatever and
They
lift that
will and
rollator
help
up
you.
over that turnstile for
Yeah.
her.
I know there was a sister when I wanted to do my travel companion business and we wanted to go to Taboga Island, right? And I
Mhm.
remember that ramp when you get to up, but
Oh
you
yeah.
always have that little gap that the workers, lend you a hand for you to hop
Yeah.
over. If you're in a wheelchair, you can't do that. And if people try to lift you over, you might end up in the water. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
So that wouldn't be something that we recommend. I mean, it is what it is. We just need
Yeah.
for people to know what they're getting into so
Mhm.
that they don't come expecting something that is not there.
Exactly.
All right, Barbara, where were we? They get on there. We talked about handicap access. How about signage and how when they get in the metro, the train station? Well, now they have AC in most of the train station, and I'm like, oh, you noticed before they didn't have any AC? I used to
Yeah.
die
Yeah. It was
down there.
extremely hot under there. Yeah.
Now they have AC. Thank you, Lord. So how do they maneuver going exactly where they need to go once they get past that, when they swap their card?
So once you swipe your card, it's generally you need to know which direction you're going in.
Right.
And so most people, and there's a map there at each station. There is a map for you to look and see. But
They
um,
have signage too, right?
there is signage there, and if you going, if you at Miguelito or whatever, and you need to go towards Albrook, make sure you got to pay attention and make sure you're going towards Albrook. And if you get on going the wrong way and you realize it, all you guys do is just get off and go across the platform and then
That's what you
go
do.
in the other direction.
Go in your direction, no biggie. Mhm.
But there
And
is
then,
signage, for you to know which side of the platform you need to be going towards.
mhm. Well, our book is a little bit of a challenge right now because of the construction of line 3. So now you have to go down all these flights of stairs, but there is an elevator on the left. You don't have to go on this flight of stairs because they're making way for line 3 the way they're gonna configure
Yes.
it. Okay, so let's say you wanted to go to the airport.
Okay.
So from where I am right now, I would take the direction of Via Zaita
Correct.
because that is going north, and then
Going away
look
from
for the
Albrook.
sign for, well, no, our book is that away because I'm at,
I say you're going away from Albrook.
right. And
Yes.
then you get off San Miguelito. What happens when you get off there?
And when you get off at San Miguelito, follow the signs to line 2.
And follow the
Is
crowd.
follow the crowd, but is the signage is excellent. Just
Yes,
follow the crowd, but you
up.
pay attention.
Mm-hmm,
And when you get on, going towards Tocumen Nuevo,
mm-hmm,
and most people think that that's going to be the airport, and it's
mm-hmm.
not.
No, it
You got to
passed.
get off at Corridor Sir,
Yes, yes.
and then go across, and you simply go across the platform. I tell people, don't go down,
Mm-hmm,
don't go to the left or the right, just go
mm-hmm.
straight across the platform, and
I
then
love
that
that.
will take you to the
You
airport.
know,
It's 2 stops.
when my daughter came, I got off, and then I was like, well, that looks weird. And then I'm like, I wasn't supposed to get out. And to this day, I messed it up. And I'm like, no, we got to get back in because, like you say, you just get off and you walk over. You don't have to go right or
Directly
left, just
across.
walk over. So right there, yes. So you follow the crowd. It says line 2. It says Tocumen, over Tocumen, because usually it's like you go down and you go up again,
Yes,
right?
yes,
And then you take the train to Nuevo Tocumen, and then you look, it's quite a few stops to Corridor Sur.
yes,
And then it shows you on that map where you get off, and then you go towards ITSE and then the airport.
correct.
And ITSE is like a technical college.
Yes.
So I think that line that started, is it 2023?
I'm not sure, but it's a lot of students, as mostly students get off at
And
that.
of course, the airport employees, it helps them too.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Okay, and then when you get off, it's only 2 stops. When you get on that train toward the airport, it's ITSE and then the airport.
And then the airport.
And then when you get up, that's a fancy opening, very modern. And then you got to take the elevator down.
Yes,
If you go into Terminal 1, Terminal 2 would be on the right, Terminal 1 would be on the left.
it's on the left. Now you
Right.
can get on the little trolley, but you really don't need to.
You
It's
don't
a
need
short
to. You
walk.
don't need to.
It's a short walk in either direction.
And they even have, what do they call that? What do they call the buses?
The shuttle,
The shuttle. I don't think you even need that.
but you don't.
Right.
You really don't.
But if you fly in Copa, you're going to land in Terminal 2.
Yes.
If you fly in United American, it's usually going to be in Terminal 1.
But there's signage out there when you get off
Very
come
nice.
out of the train, it tells you which terminal is in which direction.
There's a big sign. It says line
Yes,
1, those airlines, line 2, those airlines.
exactly.
I mean, everything is laid out pretty nice, for a country like, and to go to line 1, you take the escalator, and then to Terminal 1, there's an escalator down. And then if you go to Terminal 2 on the right, there's an elevator down. And then you just walk a short little thing and then you're in Terminal 2. I mean, it's just
Exactly.
peasy.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. Right. So what are some things that might be a challenge using the metro?
Well, it's really not much of a challenge now. The biggest thing is for everybody, you must learn Google Maps. Google Maps is your friend.
Is your friend.
Is your best friend. And so as far as the train, the metros, is if you don't live near one, that's convenient for you to get, right on the train.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many buses. To me, it's not inconvenient, and I actually prefer the buses over the metro.
Do
I
you?
don't know why, but I
Okay.
do. But in even when I don't live close to the metro,
Mm-hmm.
I knew which buses with Google Maps, and it tells you what bus to take, and you can get off and get on a metro if you want to.
And sometimes it's a combination, depending
And
on where
it's a
you're
combination.
going. It will say, take
Exactly.
the train to that station and then this bus.
Correct.
And
So
you're
Google
right.
Maps
You're right.
is your friend.
Google Maps definitely is your
Google
friend.
Maps.
And it works really well here. Some people talk
It
about
does.
Waze. I've
It
never
does.
used Waze, so I don't know.
But no, not for, yeah, I wouldn't, you don't want to use Waze for getting on the bus and the train. Google Maps
Yeah.
tells you what bus to get on, how many stops, and then if you have to transfer, it tells you. So generally when you put in your destination in Google Maps, most of the times it gives you 4 routes. And
Mm-hmm.
I look at all 4 to determine which one I want to take,
And depending on which is coming the soonest, right?
which is coming
The
the
bus or
soonest,
the metro. Yes,
or
I agree.
a determining factor for me also is when you pull up your Google Maps and you put in your destination, it's a little stick man behind there, and it has like a number behind it. That number indicates how far you have to walk when you get off of your train or when you
Yes,
get off of your bus.
that
So
is
I
true.
choose the one with the shortest walk.
Of course, of course. And also what I like about when you're on the bus, Barbara, is that once you get on the right bus, and then there's a little arrow that goes with every single stop going down. So you know exactly where you are,
Yes,
you know which stop is coming just right on your phone. And that's why you want to be sure. I tell people when you come in here, you want to use that, make sure you have Wi-Fi, that you have your phone, you have
yes.
Wi-Fi, because otherwise you're not going to get all that good information. That is so good. What
And
about,
another thing that people don't know that I let them know that when your Google Maps say you got 10 stops. Now, when I first got here, I was not aware of the Google Maps. So I'm sitting here mentally trying to count 10 stops. But every stop don't
no.
look like a stop because it may be a tree with a sign on it. But if you're following along on your Google Maps,
Mm-hmm.
there's it has your little route. Every white dot on that route is a bus stop. So
Ah.
you no longer have to sit there and count. Just
Mhm.
follow the blue dot, and when it hovers over a white dot, that tells you at a and it tells you at a bus stop.
Mhm.
And then when I get to the one just before where I want to get off, then I know to push the button.
And the other thing that I noticed too is that sometimes, I like to get on the bus like on the weekend when it's not so busy. If I
Yes,
just want to go to, because Barbara, I don't know if you do that. When I first got here, I went to Albrook and I got on almost every single bus. I just said, oh, I've been on that one. So I got on and I go and like, oh, this is what that is. Oh, I can take that bus over here. Oh,
exactly.
and then I kind of watch until everybody gets off. When the last people, I'm like, oh, the last one. Oh, then I get off too. Then one day I ended up in Siesta somewhere, some area. I'm like, I'm still in Panama City, way off. That's how I learned. But the other thing on the weekends, that it may come to a stop and there is nobody there at the stop, so it doesn't stop. So
Exactly.
if you're not paying attention, you're not gonna get off where you need to get off.
If nobody's on that platform and
He's not
wave
gonna,
that bus down, and
yes.
nobody pushes that button on the bus, he's
Yeah,
not going.
there's not gonna stop. So you might miss your stop that way.
Exactly.
Yes, yes.
Exactly.
Okay, what about safety? Do you ever feel concern on the bus or on the, well, on the bus is just like the train. You do have to scan your
Yeah,
card,
you are.
and then
Yes.
you go and you sit. They do have some seating for disabled people, but other people are usually sitting in those seats. I have had drivers tell young people to get off and let me sit because they would sit in those blue seats that are designed
Yes.
for the
Yes.
elderly. And then especially the women driver, they don't play. She's like, get off, get off. I'm like, "What?" And
I don't see a lot of that happening.
yeah, no, not a lot of that happening. But it can get crowded around rush hour traffic,
Yes.
especially if you're doing the routes like Via España, the V51. Woo, there's a lot of
Oh yeah.
people
Oh
getting on
yeah.
those buses. And I tell people, I love my Panamanian people. They're very deferential to the elderly on the bus, senora. They get me to sit. But
Yes.
boy, when they need to get on that bus, they'll pass by you and get in front of you. That I'm just telling you, don't be surprised. So do you ever have any safety concerns when you're on either of those?
Never, ever, ever. In the 3 years I've been here, and then I started riding the buses and the trains about 2 months after, I've never encountered any safety issues on the buses or the trains.
And I've never heard, you know how, and I'm from New York, right? So I know what's happened on the subways. People would, you know how crazy they are, push
Yeah,
people on the track. We
yeah,
never had any of that here. I know I heard in the news, because I watch the news every day, they did have somebody collapse at Cinco de Mayo, but it could have been a heart attack or a stroke or whatever.
yes, yes,
Um, I do hear in the news sometimes if it's in certain areas where it's crowded, because sometimes the buses pass and they don't stop because they don't have any room.
yes,
Because if it's like rush hour, some people have gotten pickpocketed at some of those stations. So always have your wits about you. If you're going to be in an area, I don't want to name any names, but you know that it's crowded, people are waiting and waiting and waiting. So, and I know some bus stops, they say in certain areas don't have the cover, and the mayor is working on that. But I've only had one instance. One time I was on the metro and I was standing, like a lot of time I stand.
uh
This guy came next to me, and I mean, he was in my space.
huh.
I could smell his cologne. And I was like, excuse me, I don't know you. So I'm trying to move, and then he's smiling like I mean, he was a big old guy. And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
you're in my space. And then when I got off, I felt like he was kind of following me. So I was walking really fast. And then
Okay.
but I knew he had a little belly. And when I came to the elevators, I made a beeline over here and I went up the steps. So nothing happened. But that
But
was
no, I haven't
the
encountered
only
any of that.
time.
And then you have to use common sense no matter where you are.
Exactly.
I don't walk around with my purse open or, whatever. But
Yeah,
I
I use
haven't
my
had
crossbody. And when I'm standing, if I'm standing, I make sure my purse is right in front of me. So it's not like
exactly.
in there. Because they show people like at Cinco de Mayo going into people's back pocket and just kind of take things out.
Yeah.
Generally, the metro and the buses are pretty safe.
Yes.
And I'm not usually in the streets late at night. I know one time I was on a bus, it was like 9, 10 o'clock at night. It was a little weird, but I didn't feel unsafe. The metro, I've been on the metro 8, 9 p.m. It's a little quieter, but not a problem. The only reason why I don't use the metro too late, because where my metro station is at night, it's not a
Yeah.
place that I want to be late at night. So I always like watch my time. If I'm gonna
Correct.
stop there 8 or 9, I'm like, no. If I take the bus, I can get on Balboa and go across on that overpass, which is a little bit safer. So, like you say, you gotta use common sense when you
Yeah.
are thinking of using the metro. The other thing also to remember is that a lot of the kids use the bus and the metro. So during the school year, the buses and the metro can be full of students at different
At
points,
certain times of the day, because it's a
times
shift
of the
that gets
day. So,
out at noon, so they pack the buses, and then there's
right,
another shift that gets out around 6, so they pack the buses.
right, because they have the what do they call that?
Two school
Right, they
shifts.
have two sessions for
Yeah.
students here. Okay. Well, let me see if I missed anything. Anything else we need to know, Barbara?
Uh, I mean, there's a lot they need to know because it's just so much information. But
I think the best way is to go with someone like you,
yes,
just to
that's
kind of
that.
see if you have any, I did it on my own because that's the kind of person I am. I miss a stop, like you said. I'm like, oh, okay, I was supposed to go over there. So I just cross over.
Just get off and hop over. Yeah,
Yeah, so I don't have a problem with that. And understand that there are different parts of the city that they look so different from each other, depending on where you're going. Because I usually like to explore. So I'll just hop on a bus or a train and get off at some weird place I don't know and just start walking around. I'm just that kind of person. But go with Barbara, and depending on where you live, you could say estación de metro next to you is going to tell you exactly where your closest station is. And then you can decide whether you can walk to the station or if the bus makes more sense, like Barbara said. And sometimes, based on where you go in Google Maps, it will give you two options. You can walk, you could do the bus, or you could do the
Or to
bus
try.
and the train, yes, or you can walk. So you always have those options, okay? And I think, do you have the Me Boost downloaded on your phone?
I don't use that anymore. I used to use it when I first started, but now I only use
Google
Google
Maps.
Maps.
I
Hmm.
tried to download it when I first got here, and it says that my phone was too new for the version that they had, so I
Okay.
couldn't do it. So I don't have it on my phone.
And
Uh,
it work a while and then it'll stop. It'll
yeah.
work a while and then it'll stop. It's not a reliable app.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank goodness for Google Maps. But anyway, I wanted to, Barbara, do you mind if I put your contact in the description for them if they want to call you for you to take them around, or do you want
Oh,
me to tell it to them personally?
you can put it in the
The
description.
description? Okay,
Yes,
that's fine. Because Barbara she's much better at it. I've done it for a few sisters, but it's like an all-day thing, isn't it,
it
Barbara?
is because we usually get started around 9, and
Mm-hmm.
then I talk to them and give them the rundown for about 20-25 minutes before we even get on the bus. And we
Right.
do bus rides, we do train rides. So we usually finish for lunch maybe around 1ish.
Oh, well,
We'll
that's
eat
good.
lunch
Mine took a lot longer than that.
we do lunch at Metro Mall
Okay.
on line 2.
Yes, I love that mall.
And
Uh,
then before we leave, I make sure everybody either has a partner to get home or they know how to get home, and preferably on the bus and the train, because most of them Uber to me.
right,
But I make sure
right.
everybody know how to get home.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think using the metro and the buses kind of helps the country in terms of emission, of people getting cars, and the traffic in Panama is a little weird. If you've driven in Atlanta or in New York City, you'll be fine. And if you drive like our sister, her sister, you'll be fine because she could drive crazy. She said, "Well, that's what I'm supposed to do." I said, "Yes, you're right." But they have a lot of cars running in Panama. People don't follow the rules very well. We do have a system of cameras, on the roads. And sometimes if you subscribe to Tráfico Panama on Instagram, any accident that happened, they'll show you how it happens. And usually it's because somebody didn't stop. The people on the mopeds get hit all the time. And traffic, you don't have right of way in traffic here. When
Exactly.
you come to a stop, you better make sure you're using the crosswalk, or they're flashing the light telling you you can go. Don't think, oh, I'm the pedestrian. None of people get hit a lot here. So, and then rush hour traffic, it doesn't matter where you are in Panama City, you're gonna get caught in it. So bring your patience, right? That's
That's
why
right.
even for Uber, I don't Uber during rush hours because all I do is sit in traffic with them.
And then they surge charge you
They
anyway.
charge you. So I'd rather walk or I take the metro.
Exactly.
And another thing I was gonna say, recently, I don't know if you knew about it, Barbara, they had like a mechanical issue with the metro line. I don't know if you knew that. I went to Albrook and I saw people coming back, a bunch of people. I'm like, why is this such a crowd? Did I miss a holiday or something? And then it turns out, and then I heard the policeman saying something at what is it? One of the station after Via Argentina. Um, Oh my goodness, it's not this side of the comment, but in the opposite direction. And apparently one of the train had a mechanical stuff on the track.
Okay.
So the train couldn't leave Albrook to go that way because, and then people, the train was full of people and they were all doing this. And I'm like, but why are you on the train if it's not moving? And they tell you there is a mechanical. But anyway,
And
so
that's rare. That's
very
extremely
rare.
rare.
That
Yeah.
was the first time, and then they had another time. That's the only two times I heard that we had that happen. So, so the metro is pretty, and then it's very air conditioned, so you're comfortable. Not all the buses have AC though.
Most do though.
Most do.
Most
And
do.
the
And
blue
especially the
ones
newer
are
buses.
the newest one, the most comfortable.
Yeah.
And then they have the stick thing on the side that could keep you in so you don't fall. I fell on one of those buses one time, Barbara, when I first got here. The bus was coming down via Israel, past
Uh-huh.
Price Smart. You know how they're gonna do that and turn around?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that bus driver was going so fast, I fell on my butt on that bus. I really did. I was like, so I like the one that have the handle that keeps you in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you gotta hang on because when they make that turn, you might fall. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Some of them do drive pretty bad.
Yes. One of them closed the door. I had my foot on there.
Oh no.
Yes. And I was like, so when I got off, I looked like I'm gonna take his number to call. And who was I gonna call? I was just I was just pretending. I'm like, you call for the jefe. They're gonna say, what do you want? And what's your problem again? So don't worry about that. Anything else, Barbara?
And then for those who are interested in leaving the city, I'm
Right.
starting to take
I was gonna say that. Thank you for bringing that up.
I take small groups out of the city because what people and most people don't believe me, but when you leave Panama City, there are no organized bus stops. You get put off of the bus on the side of the road. So I'm taking groups, further up that corridor, Arahan, Coronado, Rio Hato, and I show them how to purchase their tickets, how to know when to get off. And when you're coming back, you pretty much wave down anything coming down that street. And then they will stop. And then when they stop, you say, Albrook. And if they
Uh-huh.
shake their head, yeah,
Uh-huh.
then you good. You can get on that bus. But if they looking at you like you got horns coming out of your head, don't get on that because you don't know where that bus
Don't
going.
know where you're gonna end up.
But yeah, so I take them to like the Coronado Thursday market. And so
Yes.
I'm slowly, so anybody that's interested in, leaving the city and learning how to maneuver when you get in and out of the city, just give me a call.
Well, I think the second or third year I was here, I spent 3 weeks going throughout the country on buses. So, you go to Albrook and then you know where to go to get the bus to go to Cologne, where to
Correct.
get the bus to go to Chame because they have some windows where you can buy tickets. You don't get tickets for every location. And some you get on. Now they're giving these little red things, that means you need to pay on the way out. And sometimes they have those, call them the bus marshal. They walk through the bus and get the payment from you. And
Uh-huh.
sometimes you pay the driver. So you just don't know.
You don't know. So that's why I'm taking groups out so they can kind of get a feel for
Mm-hmm.
what happens when we leave the city. And it is always a fun trip. We
Mm-hmm.
go, we may shop an hour, like at the Coronado Market, we may shop an hour, hour and a half, and then we
Yeah.
go next door,
Yeah.
eat lunch, and then I take them
And
across
then
the
head
street, show
back.
them how to get back.
Ooh, the bus that I took getting back, oh my God, it stopped like every mile. And people were hanging from the ceiling. Sometimes they sit on your lap. It's an experience. I've ridden with the chickens. Yes, the chickens would be there.
And I hadn't ran into that yet.
Well, the first time I took the bus to go, where was I going? Maybe Penanome, the little mid-side buses. And
Yeah.
they drive so crazy. They were going through the mountains and every curve, they don't slow down. Oh my God, I was praying the whole way. And I was hyperventilating. So you got to be ready for that. Not all the buses are like the big Greyhound buses. No, 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 no. And then they drive crazy. And then
Oh
we had
yeah.
the Diablo Rojo. You haven't taken the Diablo Rojo.
I've taken that to Arahan.
Okay, you haven't taken your people onto the buses.
No. I haven't taken them on
Come on,
those
Barbara.
those
That's an
like
experience. You got to take them on that.
that.
Yes, where the music is popping and there's no air conditioning.
Oh yeah, yeah. Those are hot. I've taken them like up and down via España before.
I did. one day I was in Kota del Este and I couldn't get my bus because the routes are a little bit different there. And then I saw the Diablo Rojo. I said, I'm getting on that one. Where it
Exactly.
stops somewhere I recognize, I'll get off.
That's how I ended up on it because the buses were taking too long and I needed to be at Mini Med at a certain time. I said, and I saw it coming. I said, let me jump on this and see how.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
And it was fun.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I think it's
It was
50
fun.
cents, right? 50 cents.
It seemed like when I did it, and it's been a while since I've done it, it was only like 35 when I did it.
Yeah, I think it was 50 last time I took it. But
But
anyway,
it may be 50
I
now,
just
yeah.
think it's part of the Panama experience because they are part of the
Yeah, you got to do
landscape.
it at least once.
Yes, at least once. And one day I was in Costa del Este of all the squinkly little places. I'm getting on that. And I did. Oh my God, Barbara, thank you so much. And I hope they enjoy this because I think the metro is definitely a good option for those of
Definitely.
us who are older, want to watch our pennies and just want to see the country. I think
Exactly.
it's a good opportunity for you to see the city. And then once you get on different buses, you kind of get situated. I said, oh, I can take this one over here. I have more options on how to get to the mall. So it's kind of nice to know. And then, we have so many malls here. We have more malls than Albrook and Multiplex,
Yes.
you
And you
know.
got El Dorado, you got
Mhm.
Metro.
Alta Plaza. I ended up on Alta Plaza one time. I didn't know how to get. I'm like, I'm getting on that one and see where it takes me. Merca, Panama, there's so many options. But anyway, thank you so much, Bob. Nothing else that you want to tell the folks?
Okay, no,
We
yeah,
covered everything, I think. Okay, so I will put Barbara's number in the description. And if you guys have any interest, just something to do. Even if you know how
exactly.
to go hang out with
Something to do.
the ladies, something to do, go have lunch, go to the market, just diversify and be bold and do something different. And next time you see a Diablo Rojo, after well, you don't need your card to Diablo Rojo. You just get on and pay your
Just get on.
rent. You just get on. Just don't go like around the holidays because they're having parties on those. But I mean the weekends. But during the day, if you see one coming and then they always come boom, boom. I'm like, we can see you. Why do you have to make so much noise? Anyway, thank you so much, Bob.
Okay,
I'll see you when you get back home.
okay.
Don't have too much
All right.
fun. All right. Thank you,
Bye
guys.
bye.
God bless. Au revoir. Bye bye.